Yankees coverage immediately following us right here on 880 ESPN. Oh, that feels so weird. And the Yankees continue their series with the Rangers in Texas at 8:10. You can see it on Yes. That's Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly.
Fun with numbers is tremendous. He gave us the schedule for all of the wild card teams in the National League.
Right.
So the Mets are half game back in the loss column. We just mentioned 3 with the Red Sox, well, 2 now, 3 with the Reds, 3 with the Blue Jays, and the 7 with the Phillies, 3 with the Nationals, 3 with the Braves, 3 with the Brewers. Now Atlanta, 3 in Colorado, which Colorado's kind of funky. I would not expect the Braves to sweep that series, but I don't think they're going to get, I don't think they're going to get swept or lose 2 out of 3. 3 in Toronto. They got a makeup game against the Reds, 2 with the Nationals. That's all on this current road trip. So that's a 9-game road trip.
Homestand.
Oh, no, I got it as a...
well, the Yankees are home so the Mets are home for at least a week, right?
Yeah, so I'm trying to see why he's got it color-coded. So forget it. I don't know why he's got it, because he's got it color-coded, but the Mets are home against the Reds, so I don't know. So let's ignore that. All right, 3 with the Rockies, 3 with the Blue Jays, a makeup game with the Reds, 2 with the Nationals, 4 with the Dodgers, 3 more at the Reds, 3
they have
at the
4
Marlins.
with the Dodgers? That's not good.
Yeah, 4 at home against the Dodgers. The 2 at Nationals, and then they close out 3 at home against the Mets, and then 3 with the Royals, which is interesting because the Royals may need those games. The Brewers aren't going to need those games for the Mets at the end of the season. I think the Royals are going to need those games, right, Michael? I mean, they're going to be competing possibly for the division, if not a wild card spot. So I would think the Royals could still be alive for a playoff spot. So that's what you're looking at there. If you want to throw the Cubs in the mix, but I'm not worried about the teams that are behind the Mets. And the Padres and the Diamondbacks, it's going to be tough, although still doable. The Padres have 3 with the Tigers, 3 with the Giants, 2 with the Mariners, 3 more with the Giants, 3 with the Astros. They've got 3 with the White Sox, 3 at Dodgers, 3 at Diamondbacks. So the Padres have a pretty tough schedule, too. But 16-8 is not impossible for the Mets.
One thing is clear, though. It does seem that if you're a Mets fan, you have any hope of making the playoffs, you're not relaxing at any point this year. It's going to, it will be that series at the end of September against Atlanta when you really know.
And I got to tell you, the reason he did the yellow, Michael, was with teams with winning records. So I figure phone numbers does not make mistakes. So anyway. They did not lay off against the White Sox. Now, they didn't blow the White Sox out in all 3 games, but, they know they'll lose games, but I don't think it's good because of a disengagement or thinking that they've already got things won, because they could have sleptwalk at any moment during the White Sox series. Didn't. Diaz got back on track. Lindor was big. They're playing outstanding defensively. That was the big difference in the game last night against the Red Sox. They made the plays. The Red Sox didn't. So right now they're playing as good a baseball as you can play, and we'll see if it continues.
Now, as for the Yankees, they start this road trip through Texas and then Chicago to meet the Cubs with a victory last night. Garrett Cole pitched very well, 6 innings, 1 run, and then he cramped up. And, I mean, thank goodness for them it was just a cramp and not a calf pull or anything like that. It was just a cramp, so he shouldn't miss any time. And, of course, Clay Holmes made it interesting in the 9th inning. Great play by Gleyber Torres to end the game. Otherwise, Corey Seager comes up as the tying run in a game that the Yankees thought was a laugher. But this is following a week where they dropped the ball. You can't lose 2 out of 3 to the Nationals, and you can't lose 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals. Cardinals are brutal. No. They're brutal. They handed that game, both games to the Yankees. Yankees wouldn't take them. Yankees played really bad baseball. Now, I do have to address something.
Go ahead.
And it's the first time in all the years since I told Peter I will not be answering questions on Twitter. Just not going to do it. Not going to waste my time and aggravate myself. But the Yankees, when the rosters expanded, did not call up Jasson Domínguez. And to say that Yankee Twitter lost its collective mind,
big
I believe is probably an understatement. I mean, it's as if the Yankees didn't call up Mickey Mantle. Jasson Domínguez, I think, is going to be a superstar. But he doesn't have that much of a track record in the big leagues. He didn't play that often last year in September before he hurt his elbow. So, I mean, you're not looking at a sure thing. That's number one. And I'm not. And the thing that I loved about the people on X, I'm sure you saw this too, Don. Paul and I explained what was behind the Yankee thinking. And Peter's the one who's always told me this is what gets me in trouble. So we're explaining what the Yankees are thinking, why they didn't bring him up. And these lunatics are saying, oh, look at Kay covering the Yankees' backside, kissing Hal's ring, blah, 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 blah. Never co-signed on what they did or didn't do, explaining what the thought process was. But the one thing that came out, most of the people that reacted so furiously on X, was that this was a service time manipulation. So when I read it, I said, there's no way. I mean, the Yankees play a lot of games. That's a game they don't play. If somebody could help them, they could help them. The only service time manipulation you'd be doing, if you got 100 at-bats the rest of the year, that it would take him over 134, which would then make him not eligible for Rookie of the Year next year. And if he's not eligible for Rookie of the Year next year, then if he wins Rookie of the Year, or would have won Rookie of the Year, the Yankees would have gotten a draft pick after the first round. You think that they would risk not winning in 2024 so they could get the 31st pick in the draft? Relax, everybody. So I said I got to make some phone calls on this. Here's why they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Had nothing to do with service time manipulation. Zero. They love Domínguez. Love him. But they know that if they bring Domínguez up, then that's it for Verdugo. That's it. Now, I know what people are saying right now. Well, who cares? He's not going to be here next year. And to an extent, you're right. And if you remember, and thank you, Anthony, for posting this, 2 weeks ago, when Verdugo could not hit his way out of a paper bag, I said the Yankees have to do drastic things. And one of them was to call up Jasson Domínguez and bench Alex Verdugo. That's what I said. Well, right before September 1st hits, Alex Verdugo starts to hit. So now, since that time, I think in the last 6 games, he's 12 for 31. They are not going to pull the plug on Alex Verdugo when he's hitting. It doesn't make sense. And if you heard Boone yesterday, they consider Verdugo to be a Gold Glove caliber left fielder. Jasson Domínguez is a center fielder who they've moved to left. And the one game he played for the Yankees at the Little League Classic, he didn't do all that great in left field. Although they think he's a pretty good left fielder, they do not think he's as good as Verdugo. Does it mean they're not going to call up Domínguez? No. And I will tell you what I think. As long as Verdugo's hitting, you can't call him up. Because I don't want Jasson Domínguez sitting on the bench. Now, if you can assure me, and all you GM geniuses seem like you can assure everybody of everything, that Domínguez is going to come up and hit more than 330, then you got an argument. But you can't assure me that, and until Verdugo cools down again, you can't call him up. I'm not sitting Domínguez on the bench. I'd rather him play the remainder of the 3 weeks in the minor leagues. And then if you want to call him up, you could call him up. This is a ridiculous reaction. People acting if they know that if they called up Domínguez, he'd hit 500 and lead them to the promised land. There's still a chance that he will get called up. But what they has to coincide with is Verdugo going cold again. How dumb, how ill-advised would it look if they called the kid up when Verdugo just got hot? Maybe Verdugo cools off, Don. If he does, then you call him up. Doesn't mean that you're not going to call this guy up. But at the time, it didn't make sense for them to call him up while Verdugo was starting to hit. They internally like Verdugo. I actually had a talk with Aaron Boone yesterday. He said his numbers are not representative of how well he's played. I said, Aaron.
Well,
He's legitimately been bad for 2.5 months. Don't tell me about exit velocity. I've watched every single game. He has not hit well for 2.5 months until this last week. So we had a disagreement on that. But I do agree, you don't call him up unless he gets to play every day. And you don't take a guy out of the lineup who they think is a great left fielder. I think he's better than average, not great, and until he stops hitting, Don.
Now, but you hear, and I guess on Talking Yankees, Boone said today there's no room for him.
There isn't.
And then you said that they like Verdugo. So does this have anything to do with him being hot right now, or just the fact that they just like Verdugo and rather have him in left field?
I think it's him.
What's the answer?
Him being hot. I really believe that.
Well,
they do like him.
Okay.
So that's why they gave him as much slack as they did when he couldn't hit for 2.5 months. But the bottom line is he is hitting now. How dumb would it be to take him out now?
I know, but still, a lot of Yankee fans are looking at it as the fact that he's a free agent at the end of the year.
He's not going to be here next year.
Overall, he's a .235 hitter. Domínguez was the untouchable at the trade deadline. When they did see him play last year before he got hurt, he was playing very well. So I can understand Yankee fans being upset about that. So why is there no space for him? Now, you bring up a good point because he's been hot. Recently, he's been hot. But you said that you had a disagreement with Boone because Boone says it was there. So even if he wasn't hot, why do I feel like they would have done this anyway? Because they believe in Verdugo.
They keep throwing Babbitt at me, right? So Babbitt is batting average on balls put in play, and his Babbitt is exceptionally low. And so they think that it'll be a return to the means where the Babbitt will be higher because that's bad luck. But my point was, I'm sorry. I've watched the at-bats. They're not good at-bats.
Right.
He has a legitimate Babbitt because when he puts the ball in play, it's a soft ground ball to second base.
So let me ask you this. Now, you may not have the answer to it. If Verdugo was just continuing to be bad at this little stretch here,
I think they call him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I think it's the fans were unfair. But I have a feeling the fans are looking at it and saying, I don't think they would have done it anyway. I think they would have. For the reason that you said, because Boone believes in this guy and the Babbitt. They'd always dig down to find the numbers to tell you, you're wrong. We're better off with Verdugo in left field. Then I can understand the fans crying. But if it's because he just got hot now, well, then I think that you got to ride out the hot hand because these games are important. The division is not won yet. There's still a lot of work to be done here. Give yourself the best chance to win. He's finally feeling it, so let's see where this goes. But Michael, you know more than I do, but just knowing this team and knowing what they talk about and the numbers and all that analytically, I have a feeling that they wouldn't have done it anyway. If they believe in Verdugo, they believe in him.
But yeah, you could believe in somebody, and he's having a bad year. Verdugo's having a bad year. This is not what you signed up for. You signed up for a guy who's going to have 40 doubles. Now, if you look at his numbers, he might end up with 35 doubles. I think he has 28 right now, 27. So he's close to what he should be in that. But all the other metrics to me, he has not played as great in left field as I thought he would. His arm is outstanding. And he shouldn't be hitting 235. And he's not coming back. He's a one-and-done guy. So I will assure Yankee fans, you said the one untouchable was Domínguez. Yeah, because he's going to be your left fielder next year. He's going to be your left fielder for the next 10 years. That's a given. But they don't have to rush the clock and sit down a guy who would become a non-player who's hot right now. I think if he went into another slump, I think you'd see Domínguez get called up.
Now, how hot is he? Because, again, over the last 5 games.
I think he's like 12 for his last 34, something like that.
Because over the last 5 games, he's got 5 hits, 1 double, and 4 singles.
Right.
So it must go farther than that.
Yeah, it goes back a little bit more. He's hitting over 300 for like 8 games.
It's not. To me, that's not enough of a sample based on what he's been all year long.
I've got it here. All right, so he came into yesterday 11 for his last 30. That's 367. He was 1 for 4. So he's 12 for 34 in his last 9 games.
No home runs.
No, he's not really a home run hitter. He's more of a doubles hitter.
All right, so how many doubles? Because I got 1 double over the last 5
doubles.
games. Over that
time, I don't know. Of those 11 hits, of the 12 hits, I don't know. Yesterday was an infield single. So it was.
I don't know. I don't know if that's. I can understand the fans being a little upset,
but not to the level that they were. I mean, they were going apoplectic.
Well, that's what they do. That's what fans do, especially on social media, Michael. Especially with a guy that was said that he was untouchable and not getting called up. And listen, don't just rip the fans, Michael. John Heyman openly questioned it on social media.
I get it. I understand.
It's not just fans. There's a lot of people, a lot of analysts of baseball that didn't get this. So I hear what you're saying, and if that's the reason, then we have to accept that because he has been hot. But I have the feeling that they wouldn't have done it anyway because you mentioned the thing they still believe and they throw Babbitt at you. This is an organization that likes to dig down deep into the numbers to tell you how much smarter they are than you.
Well, see, this is what annoys me with fans. They're all smart asses. They really are. I'm sorry for the language.
Well, yeah.
So Slam Central Station goes, Verdugo's never getting hot. Laughing, a crying emoji. He's hitting .353 in his last 9 games. All right, a home run, a double, and 842 OPS. That's not hot. So, again, don't watch the games with your eyes closed. This guy's going to stay in the lineup, and Domínguez is not coming up until this guy goes cold. And you know what? I kind of understand it. And I'm not carrying the Yankees water because 2 weeks ago, Anthony posted it last night. I said that they should bench Verdugo when he was red hot, and they should have called up Domínguez. But to say it was time manipulation, that's a lie. It was not. That was never an issue. They do a lot of things. They don't do that. They don't care about that. They don't care about saving that money. They don't care about getting that draft pick. Is it a nice positive to do? Yes, but they're not going to give up the 2024 season so that they can get a draft pick in 2020. That's ridiculous. That was never an issue.
Well, I do, but you do get the frustration. Like, this is a guy who, when he showed up and people got a taste of him, was unbelievable.
But it was 8
and you're
games.
like, oh my God. I know, but that's the thing. It was such a tease. They had this moment where you go, oh my God, he's exactly what we thought he is. And then injury, gone. Now you have an opportunity to get him back. You find out you're not. People get irrational in moments like that. And you also feel like you could use him. And this is a team that's been inconsistent. You feel like, especially finding out, even Michael hearing this, that it relates to Verdugo, I feel like that would upset people even more.
But that's the only place he's going to play. He's not playing center for Judge. He's not playing right for Soto. Stanton has 25 home runs. He's not DHing. The only place for him to play is left field.
I know, but wouldn't the average fan, Don, just rather be done with Verdugo?
Well, they don't. You know what? It's funny. The Yankees don't run their organization for the average fan.
But that's it. But that's it. No, but that's it. That's where we've hit the crux. They go, I want to see the Martian. I don't care about Verdugo. But yeah, that's not how you can operate.